What is up, guys? James Carter TV here for yet another one of my 2016 NFL Draft scouting reports. Today we are looking at Jalen Ramsey, and finally the rest of the world is realizing how good Jalen Ramsey is. I've been on the record on Twitter for quite some time, if you follow me on Twitter at James Carter TV, by the way, that I'm very high on Jalen Ramsey, and I'm of the belief that the Tennessee Titans, who happen to be my favorite team, should take him with the #1 overall pick. Now, I do not believe he's the best prospect in this draft, but right now he's my second best prospect, and I believe no one helps the Tennessee Titans more than Jalen Ramsey. And this is a guy that maybe in a stronger draft class wouldn't be near the top, wouldn't be under consideration for #1, but this draft class isn't very, very strong at the top, although I do think there's quite a bit of depth here in this draft class, not bad by any means like 2013 where it was just god-awful everywhere. But in this type of draft, I do believe Jalen Ramsey is someone that can be taken with a top 3 pick, and you'll be damn happy with your selection. And I'll get into the strengths and the weaknesses of this player and all of that, but really overall just know going in that I really like Jalen Ramsey. So let's start with his strengths. #1, he's 6'1", 205 pounds. He's long and he's fast. So you like the measurables there. Yeah, he could put on 5 or 10 more pounds, but overall, you like the size here, especially his long arms. When you see him on tape, his long arms get in the way. He creates a lot of plays using his long arms, using his long frame to press receivers well. He has good strength there, very physical player, which is really good for press coverage. Using those long arms in press coverage, that is something that I love to see Jalen Ramsey do, and he's fast. I don't know why. Some people were under the belief that this guy isn't fast. No, this guy is fast. And this is a guy that has Olympic-level speed. I mean, there was consideration that, hey, this guy could be in the Olympics coming out of high school. This is one of the most athletic high school players we've ever seen coming out of high school. Went to Florida State and had plenty of success. I'm sure he hasn't lost a step either. He's going to blow up at the combine. I mean, I think a lot of people are underrepresenting what this guy can run. I think there's no question he's going to run the 4.3s. The question is, will it be a 4.36 or anywhere from a 4.36 to a 4.39, at worst a 4.41? But this is a fast guy. I don't know why there's any discussion of this. This is a fast player, and he's going to have absolutely no problem keeping up with NFL wide receiver speed. So he's long and he's fast. #2, he's versatile. I mean, this is a guy that like, is he a safety? Is he a cornerback? I'm saying, who cares? If you're telling me, you're giving me a guy who I can throw into an NFL secondary and say, make plays, have fun, make plays, play defense, and he'll do good at whatever you want him to do, that's fine. Because he can play left corner for you, he can play right corner for you, he can play slot corner, he can play free safety, he could play strong safety, although I wouldn't want him there because he's just a little too skinny for my liking, but he could do it, and he could get away with it. Because Troy Polamalu was a 207-pound strong safety. Now, Troy Polamalu was sitting at 5'10", while Jalen Ramsey's 6'1", but hey, Troy Polamalu could do it, and he's one of the best, if not the best, strong safety of all time. So when I look at Jalen Ramsey, I'm saying throw him anywhere. Throw him anywhere in the secondary and have him make plays. Some people think that makes him too much of a tweener. I'm saying good, because I love to have a movable piece like this. And my next strength goes into that. He's an excellent blitzer. And this is where the safety conversation comes up. But again, I think when it comes to corner blitzes, this is very dangerous here, because you rarely see in the NFL nowadays, corners don't really blitz. I mean, for some reason, the NFL and definitely in college football, corners just aren't athletic enough, just aren't fast enough, and defensive coordinators just don't do it. This is the guy that comes off the edge quick and can get to the quarterback, hit the quarterback, and sack the quarterback. Creates a lot of pressure off the edge on corner blitzes, and it's something that, when used correctly, can be very dangerous and very hard to stop and move the football on offensively. So this is a very nice key and tool here for Jalen Ramsey to have. If you have him play safety, he can come down for safety blitzes and get to the quarterback. So that's just another nice added piece. I mean, every year he's going to get 3 sacks. I mean, that's not a lot, but we're talking about a defensive back. That's a good amount. All right, next we have intense mindset. And now this is something that I really appreciate if you want him to play safety. I mean, if you're playing free safety in the NFL, if you can have this intense mindset, be very intense on the field, get in people's faces, talk a bit of trash, and love playing football, man, I love that in any defensive player, but I definitely love it in an NFL safety. And having that just tough mindset, I'm not going to let you do what you want to do. I mean, this guy walked up to Clive Walford, who's currently an Oakland Raiders tight end, and we're just talking, smacked him the whole game, absolutely shut him down, picked him off. I mean, absolutely just was in his face all night long. I loved this game. This was against Miami in 2014 when Jalen Ramsey was going up against Clive Walford. So you know this guy's not going to back down from any challenge, and that's a key strength. It is, especially for his defensive back, a safety, to have this mindset. I love it. Next we have his instinctiveness and his aggressiveness. And this is a guy that has nice instincts, and because of these instincts, you want him playing safety. You want him out there just free roaming around, going wherever he feels compelled to go, and knowing that he's going to make plays. This is something he does consistently, and it's just instinctual. I mean, this guy just knows where to go to make plays, knows how to play certain players, knows certain ways that he can cover certain players. Like Clive Walford, sometimes he would leave him off a little bit, cut inside, knowing when to cut inside. Almost had 2 interceptions in that game, dropped one that could have been easily picked off. One play against Notre Dame in 2014, he instinctively knew that the quarterback was going to throw a flat route, peeled off of the receiver he was covering, and almost picked it off and ran back the other way for a pick six. So this is a guy that shows instinctiveness, shows aggressiveness. When he sees something, he attacks it, does it well, and creates plays, which is huge, absolutely huge. His fluid hips. This is something that you need to have if you're a cornerback. I mean, so when we're talking about Jalen Ramsey being 6'1", a lot of problems come with tall defensive backs. Their hips aren't that fluid. This is not a problem with Jalen Ramsey. I mean, he has fluid hips. He can change direction like that. That's absolutely no problem, no issue at all for Jalen Ramsey. This is someone that has the physical tools to be really, really, really good in coverage, if not a lockdown, shutdown corner in coverage, and you have to love that if you're an NFL team. So the fluid hips, I mean, that's mainly for being a cornerback. I mean, so I'm telling you, there's strength from being a safety, there's strength from being a cornerback. Let him do both. Just throw him in the secondary and see what he can do. Let him have fun back there. All right, his athleticism, I hinted at this earlier. Again, this is a guy that has Olympic level speed, very fast, very agile, high vertical. This guy's going to blow up the combine. I think he's going to be the best overall performer at the combine in terms of guys that are actually going to do well. Like, there's always going to be like a 5th or a 6th round prospect that just blows it up and no one cares because he can't catch the football or something like that. This is a guy that will blow up the combine. I think he'll be the guy people are talking about after the combine. I love Jalen Ramsey and his athleticism. And finally, he has good coverage. I mean, even though we're talking about a guy that is very athletic, he has the potential to be, right now he's pretty good in coverage. Now, he can improve, and I'll get into the weaknesses now. He can improve in coverage and slash his footwork, because sometimes in coverage, his footwork can be a little off. He doesn't have great balance. And maybe this is because he doesn't weigh too much. But specifically a play I noted against Miami. Yeah, I guess Miami in 2015. So he's covering Scott. I'm not sure what his first name is. Maybe DeAndre or something like that. But he's covering Scott, wide receiver for Miami, on a go route down the field. And does a tremendous job because he's staying with this guy all the way. Turns his head around a little late. Scott pushes off just a little bit. Just a teeny wince. This makes Jalen Ramsey just absolutely lose his balance and lose his coordination completely and totally. So that's something that needs to be upgraded and needs to be improved upon, because you just can't do that. I mean, he did an absolute great job of staying with him, pressing him, running with him. Turned his head around a little late, but that was good, fine. And I noted this play in the description box, so go ahead and look at it against Miami. Again, if he had better footwork on this play, he still can improve in coverage. I think he's going to struggle with like the really best wide receivers in the NFL in terms of route running. Whenever wide receivers run inside routes, like an inside post, maybe a quick little dig, he does have some issues there, but this is kind of an experience thing. When we're talking about college defensive backs, no one comes out being a shutdown corner. No one. Because, I mean, look at Richard Sherman This guy was a 5th-round pick. Patrick Peterson wasn't even that good of a corner yet, but we knew he had the physical tools to become one. No one comes out of college being a shutdown corner. So I do notice these things, but you have to kind of go out on a limb and say, with experience, with incoming coaching and whatever, this will improve. So I'm kind of going out on a limb here, but even now, again, as I said, he's still good in coverage right now. He's not locked down. This is what he needs to do in order to become a lockdown corner. Even if you want to have him at corner, I mean, maybe you don't even want to have this guy at corner. Maybe you want him to have a safety. We don't need to have a conversation, because if he's covering tight ends, you'll be fine. Unless, and this is my next weakness, he has some inconsistent tackle techniques. Sometimes, and a lot of times, he tries to arm tackle. And again, he's not very strong. He's not very big. He's only 205 pounds, and I saw ESPN listed him at 201 pounds. So I'm not sure who to believe, either CBS Sports or these guys. I'm going to go with CBS Sports for now. So he needs to put on some size, because when tackling, sometimes he can be inconsistent, try to arm tackle a little bit. He never really, I mean, he does bring people down to the ground, but he would prefer to push people out of bounds. That can be a little bit of an issue when you go up against, say, Rob Gronkowski. But overall, again, as long as he's covering well, that won't be too much of an issue. And finally, and this is my biggest flaw, and even this one isn't too big, he is absolutely awful when it comes to coming off blocks. He cannot shed a block to save his life. And it's understandable. He is a defensive back. So let me preface my comments by saying, yes, he's a defensive back. He's not supposed to be a damn defensive end. It makes sense that he can't get off blocks. Fine. If you're going to have him play safety, he's going to have to get off a block every now and then. He can't just be a space filler. And when tight ends lock him up, even when wide receivers lock him up, he's out of the play. And this is very annoying. If he did not have this one weakness, we're talking about the next Ed Reed. But because he cannot get off these blocks, there will be some runs that just go right past him because he never had a chance. He stuck his arm out, but he couldn't get past the tight end that was in front of him. A little bit of an issue. But I think if he can put on some size, put on some more strength, can get coached up in order how to block these or how to shed these blocks, I think this is a weakness that you will see or that you will not see in the upcoming future. So with all of this said, I compare him to Charles Woodson, a guy that started off at left cornerback, ended up transitioning to more of a safety role. He could do the same. He could do vice versa. He could just be a cornerback all his life. He could just be a safety all his life. But this, he compares to him in size compartment because the size is pretty much identical. And then compares in terms of talent. Now, I'm not sure he's going to be as good as Charles Woodson, but man, this guy's going to be good. And if you turn on the film and you look at his game against Miami, we're talking about, wow, what a game. I mean, this was quite honestly the best game I've seen from a defensive back prospect ever, I think. I mean, he forced a fumble, he intercepted a pass, could have intercepted another, absolutely everywhere on the field. Just so dominant, so good. If you haven't watched his game against Miami in 2014, right now, go to YouTube, watch it. You will be absolutely amazed. 2014, not 2015. Absolutely amazed by his performance. And when we're talking about that game, again, this is a guy that has Ed Reed type potential, Charles Woodson type potential. Now, when grading, I'm very conservative. Because that saying he is going to come back to kick me in the ass, I'm sure of that. So I'm a little bit conservative. I give him a 90 grade. I'm conservative with everybody. 90, 91. If he rolls with the combine and has nice workouts, this can still improve and go up. But for now, I definitely have him as a Pro Bowl player. And overall, when you're looking in the top 5 of this draft, and you have a Pro Bowl player, a guy that could even be that Ed Reed transcendent safety, Brian Dawkins, wow, safety of the decade. He could be. He's the best safety prospect since Eric Berry. Take him. Even number 1 overall, take him. Because the safety position more and more is becoming more and more important in the NFL. And if you have him at cornerback, he could even develop into a lockdown corner because his physical tools are so good already. If he can just improve on his strength, improve on some footwork, some tackle techniques, man, this guy's going to be really, really good. And whoever takes Jalen Ramsey will be very, very happy. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.